Alright, welcome back to I Was Reincarnated 7th Prince, Anime Review, episode number 12. We're here reviewing the 17th episode of the series, The Church's Secret. Oh yeah, and here's the thing. Now, unlike in the case of the other two anime, which are getting really close to finish, like Donovan's got 4 left, Dr. Stone's got 5, this has 7. Yep. And we're only like almost halfway through the season. That's because the dub took a while to come out. So this episode seems like Babylon's dead. Nope, he's not dead. He basically reveals, oh yeah, I can move my organs. So he battles the bad pastor for quite a while. Meanwhile, the nun who works with Aloyd's sister with the recital, she of course takes the pastor and she goes, don't call for help. And of course she's running through the rain because she's worried about Babylon. And then just by sheer coincidence, she just happens to run into Lloyd. And informs basically what's going on. So Lloyd proceeds to race over to basically deal with, help out Babylon. They spent like 10 hours basically trying to heal him. And of course the nun basically saving him. So then of course, by the way, the whole thing was a funny scene in the Adventurers Guild, like, oh yeah, because it's raining, hang out at the Adventurers Guild and get toweled right off. And of course the receptionist there basically spreads information about this particular pastor to the church headquarters, and they're like, if you're going to accuse one of our pastors, have hard evidence. Well, given the fact that she probably did have hard evidence, they just don't give a damn. Because, of course, they're basically stuck-up morons. So, of course, the bullies from a few episodes ago who showed up, the guys who tried to rough up basically who tried to take Lloyd's sister and the nun, they proceed to turn a new lead thanks to Lloyd shoot him up to another land, which is in my gut bag, and they fix the church. No problem. And despite the fact, they break a window, break the ground. Eventually they get back underground, of course. And just by sheer coincidence, they kind of end up in the same area that Lloyd, Tao was coming out of the church at, just in case the pastor came back. So it was Lloyd, Tao, Sybil, and Ren. Same area, and of course everybody goes, including the guild receptions. They basically walk in the area, and then they come across a laboratory, which was shown in the last episode. So yeah, there's definitely stuff going on basically in the basement. So, I do remember seeing this, and you think like, this is a fantasy show with all the magic stuff. Why the heck would there be a laboratory? That's something of science fiction, not like fantasy. But here's the thing. This actually is in the manga. Because they're the manga adaptation of the series. And yeah, this is 100% completely true. They actually spent some time here. Because basically because originally before I watched the first season of the show, I basically read the first 5 manga volumes. But when I came back to the show before the season started up, I managed to get through 10 more volumes before the season started. So I went through a lot of the manga adaptation prior to basically starting the season. So I wasn't all that surprised to see this, but it's done in a very spectacular fashion. I do appreciate that they kept that in here, which good on the studio for doing that. As the pastor himself, they mentioned, they use his fertility, and of course that the pastors, the other ones, are like, that's impossible. They just don't buy it at all. Despite the fact that there were witnesses. And they apparently don't trust Babylon because he's a former criminal. And they think, because he's a criminal, he's lying. Not necessarily. One thing, he was pardoned. Probably because he helped save Lloyd's life, of course. But you would think, you don't buy Babylon's word? Fine. How about buying the word from one of your own pastors or one of your frickin' nuns, people? If I was there, I was like, excuse me, gentlemen. Are you saying you don't take the word? You're like, okay, you don't accept the word of a former criminal, but you apparently think that a nun is lying about a man he uses ability who tried to murder a pastor right in front of her. Are you calling her a liar? And like, of course we are. I would say to Pope, excuse me, Your Holiness, would you mind basically telling them basically what the punishment is for lying in your church? Which I'm sure probably involves basically being, well, probably something very nasty. Because the fact they don't think there's hard evidence, even though there is. There's plenty of evidence. Yeah. Look, I am basically I do agree with the belief basically if you're gonna accuse somebody of it, you gotta have evidence. Fine. And I don't particularly like it when people say something about certain things and people automatically believe in them. This is the case of there's an accusation and there's evidence, but apparently they'll buy it because, oh, was a former criminal. Despite the fact criminals are doing, like, they think, oh, because he's a criminal, like, he's a, like, here's the thing. Babylon was never mentioned to show that he was actually convicted of his crimes. Never. He was accused of the crimes, but he was never convicted. If he was a convicted felon, then yes, you can probably disbelieve him. But Babylon and his people were never convicted of the crimes. They were all pardoned. Yep, they were all pardoned. Thanks to the Lord, of course. And, by the way, they were also denied their support by Lloyd's brother, who happened to be the second prince. I'm like, so, you know this, but you probably think a royal is lying about something like this? I highly doubt it. I'm sure if Lloyd basically mentioned this, they'd probably think he's lying because he's a child. Yes, because Simon Anime had this really stupid trope of where adults think children are liars. Case in point, case closed. Where there was this one episode where the detective boy tried to call for help, and of course the people laughed it off. Babas McGuire basically told him that, yeah, these kids do in fact tell the truth. They don't lie. You see, the better option, instead of assuming they're liars because they're children, you should find out if they're lying. Just go find out. That's what I would do. I would just take a look around, see if they're acting on truth. Someone's assuming that they're kids, assuming they're lies because they're children. Yep, but like I said, this episode's pretty good. Yep, and not much to say about this. And it's getting kind of late, so I decided to do Saga for tomorrow because I only want to review through it now, so I'll review that tomorrow. But hey, at least it got done Wednesday, and I have one new anime left to go. And it's just happened the one I reviewed yesterday, New Saga. Actually, was just a couple days ago I reviewed this thing. You're like, really? Yeah, just 2 days ago I reviewed the last episode of New Saga that aired, and now it's like not long between episodes. Probably because back in the proper review schedule. I may watch it tomorrow morning when I get up. Probably because I had tomorrow off. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. I will see you all tomorrow, okay? Bye.